Good morning. I am Phyllis Friello, Education Manager here at Space Center Houston. Welcome to SEEC. What an incredible time to be here. We are not only celebrating the 25th anniversary of SEEC, the 60th of NASA, but also the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11. NASA has estimated that it took over 400,000 people to make this incredible mission possible. When I see these iconic footprints in the regolith, I also see the footprints of those 400,000 paving the way to the Sea of Tranquility. Among them are those in this photo. This was taken in September of 1969 when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin returned to Bethpage Grumman to thank the people that worked, the whole team that worked on the LEM. And among this team is my dad. He is the one in the white shirt and the skinny black tie. He and the rest of this amazing group had no doubt that they were part of this mission. But what I also see in this group and other such celebrations are the rest of the team members. I see the teachers. I see the teachers that taught Neil Armstrong how to use his slide rule. I see the teachers that taught the engineers their first circuits and taught the scientists the phases of the moon. As we set our sights beyond low Earth orbit, we can only imagine the numbers it's going to take to reach this goal. The engineers, the scientists, the artists, and the teachers. Our students will soon be joining this path in labs, offices, and in spaceships. And together with our footprints, together with your footprints, they will be paving the way to the moon, Mars, and beyond. So once again, welcome to SEEC and welcome to the mission. It is now my great privilege to introduce to you the Vice President of Education here at Space Center Houston, Daniel Neumeyer.
Welcome. You guys excited? Yeah? So I am the Vice President of Education here at Space Center Houston, and a classroom teacher and, a lifelong educator and learner. A huge fan of space exploration and what it can do for you in your classrooms. We are very excited to be celebrating the 25th anniversary of SEEC. Let's hear it for that. Amazing. How many of you are here for the very first time? Yeah, that's awesome. That's fantastic. How many of you are here for the 25th time? And I think there's a few who have been here for greater than 20. I think there's a few of you out there. Yep, there he is up there. All right, good. So the big things, get everything you can out of this week. You guys know that. The power of what you learn from each other, from the amazing subject matter experts that you get to work with this week, are just going to change your classroom. They'll change what students engage in, and the engagement level just moves to incredible heights when you give students real, authentic science, space exploration. Put it in their hands. Let them do the real thing. And a big piece, we couldn't do this without our great friends at NASA Johnson Space Center. So we are excited to have them here. I want to recognize a few people that are here who help us put this all together, make sure we have the opportunity to bring you these extraordinary scientists, engineers from the nation's space exploration mission. So I want to welcome Bob Musgrove, the Director of STEM Engagement. Yvette Turner, STEM Partnership Manager. Michelle Martin, External Relations Program Specialist. Rocky Lynn, Deputy STEM Engagement Director. and Dr. Danae Fullwood, who's the Education Program Specialist and all things teacher education. Of course, I'd like all the other team members from the NASA Office of STEM Engagement, if you guys could stand up and let everybody give you a big round of applause for all your amazing help. But there's one very special member of that team. Her name is Veronica Clausen, and if Veronica could stand up. Veronica was the only one who raised her hand for 25 years, and the reason for that is Veronica started this whole thing. She was the original coordinator of SEEC conference. So Veronica, we want to thank you, and you know it's a true testament to when you put your heart and soul into something, you care about it, you do all the hard work to get it started. That it's been going on 25 years, and there's been so many teachers and students' lives touched. So this is encouragement. Thank you, and it's encouragement to everybody. You may not see the immediate result when you work hard, but this is pretty amazing. So. We're happy that you're here and you're still inspiring all of us and helping us do amazing things with space exploration. Thank you. One more time. There we go. All right. So it's now my honor and pleasure to introduce to you our Chief Executive Officer and President here at Space Center Houston, Mr. William T. Harris. We are so happy to have him here. He's been here about 3 years and has just made an amazing strides for all we do to bring space exploration to the public. So I want you to all give a warm welcome to Mr. William Harris.
Good morning, everyone. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here for the 25th SEEC conference. Space Center Houston is committed to being a dynamic learning destination. Over the past couple of years, we've been doing a lot of analysis and planning and discussion. In fact, some of you have participated in some focus groups with us during our strategic planning process and our facilities master planning process. So I just really want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about what's happened with us over the past couple of years and where we're going into the future. I'm overjoyed to say that we've been making a lot of changes to make Space Center Houston into a more engaging, dynamic organization and destination for the public. We made a major emphasis on providing access to underserved students and others to the organization and our fundraising efforts, and we've dramatically increased the number of youth coming here on field trips. In fact, over the past 3 years, we've increased attendance by 23%, and actually last year we set a new attendance record at 1.1 million visitors. So we're absolutely thrilled by that. Thank you. I think that deserves a round of applause. Well, that's just the beginning of a trajectory. My aspiration is that we'll be growing to about 2 million visitors a year, and as I mentioned earlier, to become a dynamic learning destination. Our strategic plan states our vision as to become the world's leading science and space exploration learning center, where we welcome people from all over the world, the nation, and the region to learn about space exploration, but really to advance skills in science, technology, engineering, and math, and also, of course, the arts. So it's very, very important to us. Over the past year, the board worked on a new facilities master plan to support realization of our strategic plan. And so you're going to start seeing a lot of changes in the coming years. We're going to be adding new exhibits, new programming, really making our education programming even more robust. And so I'm very excited that you'll come back in future years. I know some of you are here for the first time, so you'll be able to every year kind of notice or pay attention to the new things that we're introducing here at Space Center Houston. So why are we making this huge investment? Well, as a science center, we are part of the educational infrastructure. And I think many of you know in your local communities that you work very closely with your science centers. And we're really committed to supporting all of you in the important work that you do in the classroom. I also have the great privilege of serving on the executive committee of the Association of Science and Technology Centers. headquartered in DC, and we're all about advancing science and engineering learning and working closely with science centers to ensure quality programming, really reach out to educators like all of you. So if you're not involved with your regional science center, please do. They really want to work with all of you and support what you do in the classroom, because we're all about really workforce development and excellence in learning throughout life. It now is my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Vanessa Wyche, who is the Deputy Director of NASA Johnson Space Center. Vanessa has been in this position since August of 2018. And in this role, she assists in leading the organization of nearly 10,000 civil service and contractor employees in Houston, including the White Sands Test Facility in Las Cruces, New Mexico, with a broad range of human flight activities. Prior to being appointed as Deputy Director, Vanessa served as Director of the Exploration, Integration, and Science Directorate at Johnson Space Center, where she provided executive guidance and direction of a multidisciplinary organization to enable human and robotic exploration of deep space. Before joining Johnson Space Center in 1989, Vanessa worked for the Food and Drug Administration in Washington, D.C. So over the span of her career, she's held several key leadership positions in the Space Shuttle program as a flight manager, in the Constellation program, as Director of Operations and Test Integration, Acting Director for Human Exploration Development Support Directorate, Associate Director of the Exploration, Integration, and Science Directorate, and Assistant Center Director at Johnson Space Center. So, somewhat of an accomplished individual. Something I really admire about Vanessa is that she's a strong supporter of innovation and inclusion at Johnson Space Center, and has served as a member of Johnson Space Center's Inclusivity Council and co-executive sponsor of Emerge, an employee resource group for early career employees. She advocates mentoring and is a passionate promoter of science, technology, engineering, and math in her community, leading efforts to oversee an annual science fair at an underserved elementary school and supporting numerous STEM outreach activities via her affiliations with the Lynx Incorporated, Boy Scouts of America, and Jack and Jill of America. No surprise, Vanessa has received numerous awards and honors, notably 2 NASA Outstanding Leadership Medals, 2 NASA Achievement Medals, a Johnson Space Center Innovation Award in 2014 for Women at NASA awardee, a National 2016 Women Worth Watching honoree by Profiles in Diversity Journal, and recognized in 2017 as Inspiring Women from South Carolina by Women in Philanthropy and Leadership at Coastal Carolina University. I'm also thrilled that Vanessa serves as Vice Chair of the Board of Directors of Space Center Houston. So she is an important member in guiding our organization around policy and as we move into the future. So please join me in providing a warm welcome for Vanessa Wyche.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to be here this morning. I'm so excited about this conference. As William said, I believe that education is the foundation for everyone's success. I stand before you as a daughter of 2 educators. They are deceased at this point, but my father was an assistant principal at my high school, so yes, I was a great student. And my mother taught elementary ed for many years. And I saw the success of her students as they progressed throughout their careers. And not only did she teach young people to read, I also had the pleasure of watching her teach adults to read and how it changed their lives. So I know what you do and the big value that you bring to our country. So thank you. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to have a short video that's going to be played. It's going to kind of talk about some things from our past and where we're going into the future. And then I'll come back up and give you an overview of some things that are going on in human space exploration and things that we've been doing in education. I'm not going to cover that in depth because you're going to get a great presentation on our STEM engagement from our STEM engagement team. So I'm going to let the video roll, or do I need to make it roll? Hold on. So as the video showed, this is a very exciting year. We're celebrating Apollo 50th. We've been celebrating all during the fall, and then we'll culminate with a celebration of lunar landing on July 20th. So big year in space exploration, big year at Space Center Houston. So we have a lot to look forward to. So as we said, Houston, this is Space City. And so we are the home of human exploration. The Lyndon Baines Johnson Space Center next door. We have facilities not only just here in Houston at the local main facility that you see. We also have a aircraft field called Ellington Field, where we have high-intensity aircraft training for our astronauts. And we also have the Sonny Carter Training Facility, which is where astronauts learn how to practice in zero-G. So those facilities are here. We also have in White Sands, New Mexico, the test facility where we get to blow things up. So, let's see. So as I mentioned, we're home of the Astronaut Corps. These are our newest astronauts that were selected. We're very excited about them and what they'll be able to accomplish, because I'm going to talk to you about some of the upcoming things that they'll be experiencing. We also are the home of Mission Control, where we control the International Space Station, along with our international partners who also have control centers in their home facilities as well. But we are the local control, and we do exercise integration of the control of the International Space Station from Houston. So I'm going to play, let's see, this is going to go, the International Space Station. So there is sound, but it's not playing, but that's okay. I'll tell you what the sound would be telling you, which is, this is to illustrate to you that the International Space Station is a working laboratory. And I'll just let it keep rolling for a minute. A lot of people are not aware that on board the International Space Station, we have capabilities to do 3D printing, we have incubators, we have the ability to do plant cell growth, as well as there are capabilities of looking external to Earth, so that we can study Earth, as well as then platforms for deep space. So the space station is very capable, and we use it for research. We use it for understanding of technologies that we want to develop to go to deep space. And that facility has had humans on board for 18 years. And so we're very proud of that. As we move forward, we'll be using the space station to help to validate some of the plans that we have for deep space exploration. We're doing that today. One of the things that we're very proud of, and I'm sure you're going to talk a little bit about this, so I don't want to steal all the thunder, was the Year of Education on Station. So we were fortunate to have two educators on board the space station. I see heads nodding, so people were aware, great, that we had Joe Akaba and Ricky Arnold on board the International Space Station. And they did numerous downlinks reaching a very broad audience. For Joe Akaba, he actually was on board during Hurricane Maria. He was able to, he's from Puerto Rico, and so he was able to have a downlink to his home so that people could know that there were people off the Earth concerned about them as well as on the Earth. This was really very important to us. They were able to complete some of the education experiments that were planned by Krista McCullough. I think maybe people followed that as well. Here at the Johnson Space Center today, actually, we will be honoring our fallen astronauts in just a few minutes, in which she was on the Challenger. So it was very important for us that they were able to conduct those experiments in space. So in addition to that, we've had the ability for numerous years of being able to share with teachers, with individuals all around the world, just what's going on the space station. But this was a really good opportunity to have two educators on board so that they could actually share experiments and talk to students so they could know what was going on. What we have upcoming is we're building two new spacecraft that will launch from Florida. So we will be able to launch again from the United States. we're super excited about this. Right now, we launch all of our astronauts from Russia, actually from a province called Kazakhstan. And we do have a launch coming up very soon in March. But we're looking forward to returning to launches from the United States. We haven't done that since 2011 with the space shuttle. So we actually have, these were the crew members that were selected as the test crew that will go for both SpaceX and Boeing. They're competing, and our plans, hopefully, is that we will be able to have launches from Florida with humans. We're going to have test flights. There's actually one planned for early March for SpaceX, but it will be uncrewed. But our intent is to have humans on board by the end of the year. Yes, that's a big deal. That is a big deal. And with that, then, so we will use that to service the International Space Station. And with each administration, the administration gives us what their space policy is. This administration has come out very strong and said that we will use the capabilities that we learn in LEO and progress to the moon. And as our administrator says, forward to the moon, not back to the moon. Our game is this time to be there sustainably so that we can have a sustained presence there. And then we will use the moon as a validation point to move forward to Mars. So right here in Houston, we are managing a program called Orion, where we're building a new spacecraft that will go to the moon vicinity, and that's the capability for us to access deep space. I believe maybe you guys have taken a tour or are going to take a tour of our space vehicle mock-up facility, and you'll have an opportunity to see the Orion mock-up, as well as you'll have an opportunity to see the Boeing's commercial crew vehicle mock-up there in that facility. But Orion will allow us to have 4 crew members that will go on board, and they will journey to what we're going to be building next is the gateway. And so you see the Orion there in front of the moon. And it's real interesting. We said this is not actually drawn to scale, of course. It's like big moon. But so what we're trying to demonstrate to you here is that we're using the Earth right now as a proving ground, and as our commercial partners learn more capability, eventually they may have a commercial platform of their own. We will continue to use the International Space Station through its lifetime, and then we will focus on the moon that will allow us to validate, and then we will go on to Mars. We currently just want to remind people that we also are already doing robotic exploration of Mars. We have rovers on board Mars today, and it's allowing us to learn so that when we decide on going to Mars, we have a better understanding of what are the resources that are available. So one of the things I was asked about was, how can teachers incorporate space into their curriculum? And it's kind of interesting for me, as William said in the intro, I've had the pleasure of working with one elementary school for about 7 years, helping with a project where we get NASA engineers to go to the school, work with the students on science projects, and then we get engineers from oil and gas to come in to judge the experiments, because we get very attached to our students. And so to be fair, we get others to come in and judge. But the principal from that school has shared with us that those students, their scores in the science portions of the TEKS, yes, has gone up, a significant difference. And so he's very pleased with having that sustained presence in the school system. But I'll tell you, the reason the kids do the projects is because they get to come to Space Center Houston as their reward for doing it. So, and then fortunately this year, we've actually been able to expand to another elementary school to get the program started there as well. But kids are very interested and inspired by space. So I think that, once they have that exposure, and with the capabilities we have now, with being able to do distance learning, remote learning, you can bring space into the classroom. So I actually just heard about this particular artist on NPR. I was listening one morning driving into work, and I thought it was just very interesting. So what he's done, he's taken a platform in New York City. It's like an old railroad car kind of a thing, and he has a globe of the Earth, and it's spinning. I don't know if everybody heard of this, but it's spinning, and then in the distance away is a moon. And on the globe, what he has is every country, and it has on there, people live here, people live here, people live here. And then on the South Pole, it says, kind of, sort of, people live here. And then on the moon, it says, no one lives here. And the children are encouraged to walk, so they put on their imaginary astronaut suits and their imaginary spacecraft that they get in, and they journey from Earth to the moon, and they look back on Earth and see what our astronauts, their experiences tell us is that when they look back at the Earth, they understand that we're one big family. We're all in it together. So I just thought this was just one way, through art. There's many ways that we can share our story, and we hope that you guys take advantage of some of the things that will be discussed a little bit later in today. But for myself, I know personally that when we share with the students the things that the astronauts are doing in space, and the fact that at their age, the ones that are in elementary school, they're the ones that would be exploring the moon and Mars and getting them excited. And not only about being astronauts, right? So I'm an engineer, I love space, but I don't want to go into space. I'm not necessarily afraid of heights or any of that kind of stuff, but for me, I don't know that I have that risk acceptance, right? And so everybody's not going to want to do that. But those of us, for me, I love seeing things that I've worked on fly in space. As a flight manager, I loved knowing that the missions that were being put together, we built the International Space Station and the capability and what it does for us right now today. So encouraging them to have STEM careers really is a good thing. And so I would just say there's multiple ways to be able to do that. So one of the charts that I had, but I'm not sure if it's in your package, Danielle. Okay, great. is really just how do we leverage our partnerships. One of the things here at the Johnson Space Center that we've done this particular year, the video that you saw, we're sharing with you some of the highlights of things that we're working on, because we want people to know that, from our standpoint, we want you to feel that giant leaps start at the Johnson Space Center. And internally within our organization, what we've done with our team is to say, our vision is to dare, unite, and explore. And dare great things. Think about the big things that we can solve. Unite, and unite with the commercial partners, unite with our international partners, but unite with our academia. And that's you guys, because you help us to have our workforce of the future. So one of the things that we want to make sure that we do is we leverage partnerships, and partnerships come in different ways, but through SIM engagement, we have a website where we can share things that we have available for the classroom. Also for people, I get asked all the time by parents. Parents want to know, independent of the school, how can I teach my child? How do I expose them? I tell them, bring them to Space Center Houston, you'll get them hooked forever. In addition, they can go do experiments that are available to them that you can just get to through our website. I'll share a real unique experiment. The girls at the Young Women's College Preparatory Academy. It's a charter school inside Houston. So we had we're going to bake cookies, right? You say, baking cookies. But we did it based on the International Space Station. So they had to research who were the people that were on board, which countries were they from. They were from Germany at that particular time. They were from Germany, they were from the US, they were from Russia. Maybe there was also an Italian, I believe. So they had to research them. Then they had to find out what kind of foods do you eat in those countries. They had to get a recipe. To bake cookies, if you're a baker, you know that you have to be able to measure. You know, you don't just put it all together. It has to be the right consistency. You would think, okay, fine. How scientific is that? Very. Because we had cookies and then we had a mess. Because some of the girls were not able to do the conversions. But all of it was around a different way to be able to share a way of doing science experiments. So there's all different types of things that you can expose kids to just to get them interested, to get them hooked. I myself am very thankful to my 10th grade biology teacher. Her name was Mrs. Lane. She's the one that got me hooked. She allowed us to do experiments, and I did an experiment, and let's just say the rest of the administration was not happy about it. But she said, you know what, if that's what Vanessa wants to do and it's going to get her excited about biology, go for it. So I encourage all of you to keep doing what you're doing and sharing your knowledge with the next generation of explorers. And just thank you for having me. And just as a reminder, Giant Leap start here. And so now I have the pleasure of introducing a very important message that you guys are getting ready to receive from some very, very special out-of-this-world guests. So, here it comes, and thank you so much.
She's been working with educators across the country for 45 years to provide beautiful community cookies. Whether it's your first year at SEEC or your 25th, you know more important questions about what science can do in engaging and enriching your students. For your chance this year, you'll walk away with ideas and lesson plans that you can take back to your own classrooms and schools. Whether you are a teacher, administrator, or anything in between, what you do each and every day to reach students matters. From all of us here on the International Space Station, thank you for your time, your dedication, and your passion for making the next generation of space explorers.
Doesn't get much more exciting than that, does it? Special message just for you. And, you know, these kind of opportunities don't happen without the amazing commitment of NASA for education and inspiring the next generation. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you one of those people who does amazing things for everyone in education. And I'd like you to give a big round of applause to Dr. Danae Fullwood.
SEEC! I am so happy to have the opportunity to address you once again this year, SEEC 2019. I just know that we've got a conglomerate of representatives in the audience, and so just so I have a good feel of who I'm speaking to so that I can speak in a customary fashion. If you are a pre-service teacher, that means you've done your student teaching, but you haven't gotten your own classroom yet. Let me see your hands. Who are you? Pre-service folks. There they are, right there in the center. Awesome. Let me guess, you guys are from Oklahoma. All right. All right. Okay. So now, in-service teachers, those of you who are in the classroom, in the trenches, K through 12, where are you? All right. Good job. Hands down. All right, okay? And our informal educators, where are you? You're in the out-of-school time learning environments. Very good, very good, very good. All right, so it's very nice to welcome everybody here. My job is to tell you a little bit about what's changed in NASA education and where we're going in the future. I mean, it is an exciting time. Change is coming, and it is all for the benefit of you and your work. And so I'm going to be working a little bit from the notes here, and then I might go off the cuff a bit. So that's going to be fun. So you guys know NASA education as NASA education, but let me just help you. We've changed our name. Okay, we are not referring to ourselves as NASA education anymore, but we are NASA's Office of STEM Engagement. Office of STEM Engagement. Say that with me. Office of STEM Engagement. That's lovely. And you know, it doesn't mean that we have abandoned education and all that it is. It means that we are focusing further and one level deeper. Okay, STEM engagement is going to be our primary focus, you know, because there's, you know, you've heard about it. You've heard about STEAM, you've heard about STREAM, you've heard about STEAM G. I mean, okay, so we got to focus on something. So we're the Office of STEM Engagement. So there you are. We're keeping the practices of providing NASA unique opportunities that enable powerful connections to supply the future STEM workforce. But the approach in doing so is going to be modified a bit in that we're going to be mission-driven. Now, I'm going to explain what that means to you. It really means instead of mimicking students learning about the missions and us teaching about the missions in a mimicked fashion, you know, as a parallel, we're looking for opportunities such that the students can be a part of the missions by making contributions to the work that NASA is doing, okay? So that's a little bit more authentic when we think about the learning experiences, and that's where we're going. So that's the big difference, okay? So as we continue, let me go on to the next thing here now. So I don't want to bore you, but I just want to kind of tell you a little bit about how that's structured, okay? So currently we have activities, and we're going to be changing what we call them, and here's the reason why we're doing that. This is our framework of evidence-based strategies, which means that we're going to be using strategies that have a body of work out there in terms of research that support our intent. Okay, so sustained STEM engagement experiences are going to be the things like engineering design challenges, STEM camps, and citizen science projects. These are events that you guys can involve yourselves in that provide interactions and opportunities over the course of several days or several weeks. Okay, so if you're looking for that spring project, you're looking for that fall project, that summer project, these are the types of activities that you're going to want to look for. Off the cuff, how many of you guys are recipients of the NASA Express email distributions? They come once a week, probably Thursday at about 2 o'clock. This is where we're going to be advertising some of these opportunities. So if you are not a part of that, I encourage you to Google NASA Express and sign up. It takes you 2 seconds. Okay? All right. Supporting STEM engagement activities. Those are things that, those are going to be zeroing in on enrichment. It's a lot of what we've seen up until now. It is our classroom lessons, digital badges for students, online interactives that can be performed, used, or completed in 1 day or less. So if you're looking for that quick lesson, you're looking for that thing that goes along with what your administrator is telling you have to do, right? If you're looking for a different way to do a lesson that you've been doing forever, this is where you want to go. We're going to be rolling out some new curriculum. So hooray for that. But how many NASA enthusiasts have seen the NASA curriculums out there, right? We love the rockets guide. We love this. We love some of our meteorology guides and things like that. We'll start looking for newer stuff, okay, with more up-to-date mission background information. Okay. We also are going to keep with the professional development modules. We're going to take most of them online in terms of webinars. Digital badges for educators and in-person training will improve your ability to continue to be ambassadors for us in providing NASA-relevant STEM content to your students. And then we're developing digital media such as webcasts, videos, and social media to disseminate instruction as well as information about our opportunities. And last but not least, something that we're going to amplify are culminating and showcase events or showcase experiences. And these are highlighted moments in time, such as launches and anniversaries. We got a lot of Apollo anniversaries coming up here. These provide enthusiasm and motivation for participation. So the work that you're doing with your students is actually linked to something that's truly happening real time at NASA. And so that's the important thing that we're talking about here. So moving on. So how are we going to do all of that? Where are we going to start? Well, we're going to start with a pilot. And this pilot is called the Next Generation STEM Pilot. And after that, we will carry on under what we learned from the pilot. So we're focusing on supporting three mission areas to begin with in this effort. First is the Small Steps to Giant Leaps theme, and this focuses on the future of aeronautics innovation. The second theme focuses on human spaceflight to the space station with our commercial partners. You just heard about the Commercial Crew Program. And then third is the Moon to Mars theme, and it focuses on transportation systems for deep space exploration beyond low Earth orbit. So let's take a deeper look at each one. Okay, so this is the Small Steps, Giant Leaps theme, and that team is developing a toolkit of resources that can be used by educators in informal and in informal settings to share the excitement of the first A in NASA, which is aeronautics. Thank you, with your students. So they're going to have videos and activities that's showcasing the new experimental aircraft, the X-59, and it will discuss how small steps in technology over time have taken us from early experimental aircraft to giant leaps of human landing on the moon and onward to the advancements of today. So for example, an activity that might be associated with this will be, having the opportunity for middle school students to collect data as a part of a national citizen science activity to support the testing of quiet supersonic aviation technologies. Pretty cool. Something that's out there already that you may or may not be aware of is this activity called Seeing Sound. It's associated with a test that was done here locally recently in Galveston, where they were trying to reduce the sound of the sonic boom to improve the speed. And so this is something that's experimental and cuts your flight time down like significantly. So instead of going from Houston to Dubai in about 14 hours, you could get there in about 8 hours. So it's kind of cool if people are okay with just hearing a little thump instead of a sonic boom. So those are the kind of things that are the mission focus of the activities that are coming out of the Small Steps group. The Commercial Crew Program, there's a team working there. Now you've heard about that we're sending American astronauts to low Earth orbit, and let me just tell you, you're going to send them from American soil. That's exciting. That is really exciting. Come on, that's really exciting. Okay, and when these things happen, you guys are going to hear about it on your news, local news, the cable news. I mean, and what a great thing to help students kind of be a part of that, right? To have something that goes along with these extraordinary events that you can use in the classroom. I mean, a lot of us remember the enthusiasm surrounding the moon landings, and so I just think that everything that we've got coming down the pike that you heard Vanessa talk about, it's equally as exciting, and so, well, I'm excited about it. And so my hope is that you guys are just as excited, and you can take some of this and put it into the classroom. Now, in particular, the Commercial Crew folks are going to be providing K-12 lessons, classroom lessons, a Commercial Crew Program app, virtual reality field trips, and educator and student learning experiences. And let me just give you a couple of examples. The K-4 classroom lessons that they've got in the pipe. Cute name. It says Astro Not Yet's Storybook with Sound Activity. That is so cool. And then they've got a 5 through 12 classroom lesson that they're planning called Crew Orbital Docking. And then we love acronyms, so that's CODING, so that's coding. That's kind of neat. And so for those of you who are getting into computer science, that's one thing that you might want to look out for as it comes out. Virtual reality field trips. I'm just curious, how many of you guys are using virtual reality in your classrooms right now? Okay. Well, just know that NASA's got something to support the work that you're doing with virtual reality. Google Expeditions has a few tours that are a part of this outfit that the Commercial Crew program is putting together. And then that also, they are working on 360-degree video guided tours of NASA facilities using Oculus Go's. So if you're into virtual reality in the classroom, we've got some stuff coming down the way for you. And if you're a video conference lover, hello? Those of you, video conference, video chats? Okay, then they've got, they're planning Astro Chats and career panels. So that's gonna be cool. Look out for that. All right, and then the Moon to Mars group. So the Moon to Mars team is developing a toolkit of resources that include 2 engineering design challenges. Now, one of them you may have heard, Student Launch. Anybody heard of the Student Launch Initiative? Anybody from Alabama? No? Yeah? Okay. So it's mostly been for university students, and so now we're going to take it and make it available for middle and high school students. So this is where students do a research-based competitive hands-on activity where they are putting together ideas for rocket propulsion systems and payloads for the HEO, or Human Exploration Operations Mission Directorate. And so these students get to do an engineering design challenge, and then they come and test their designs at Marshall Space Flight Center. And my hope is that we will be able to expand that to other centers throughout the agency. The second challenge is the App Development Challenge. How many of you guys are using coding? Show of hands. Coding enthusiasts. Middle school, high school coding enthusiasts. Okay, good to know. That is coming within 4 to 6 weeks. Look for that. It's going to provide an opportunity for middle school and high school students to practice coding and to learn engineering design principles. Now, what's cool about this is that whole mission part that we were talking about, that mission-driven part. This is in alignment with the work that's happening for the Ascent Abort 2 test that's coming up around about the turn of May and June this year. So we have been working with the Orion team, who's going to be performing this test of the crew capsule, and they're looking for ways for the people who are not on their team physically to see the trajectory of the vehicle during flight. And they said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if middle school students or high school students could put together a visualization that we can use on a smartphone? And so we said, okay, we'll put together this challenge, and let's put the challenge out to students. So really look for that to come out in the very near future. And so there will be also supporting curriculum for this, educator training and digital badging for students. And we are currently developing that curriculum to focus on that future mission work that Vanessa spoke of. That is the Orion crew capsule, also the Space Launch System, which is going to be the new rocket, and then also the Gateway Lunar Outpost. And so there will be curriculum to support all of those missions. So truly exciting, lots of stuff going on. And so you saw in one of Vanessa's slides that, I don't know how many of you guys saw it at the very top, it's one of her last slides. It said, we leverage partnerships. We leverage partnerships. Now I put this out here because there was a feature that went out online to let everybody know that we have the Space Act agreement with Peanuts Worldwide. And we are truly excited about that partnership. And in leveraging partnerships in this new approach to STEM engagement, we are hoping to capitalize on the resources that they have and the resources that we have in order to make a better experience for you all. So it's really the philosophy of the more the merrier, right? The more the merrier, the better the thing is going to be, right? Sort of like a potluck of resources to make things great for STEM engagement. Okay, so what I'm supposed to say. NASA and Peanuts Worldwide are joining forces to collaborate on public engagement and educational activities that share the excitement of STEM with the next generation of explorers and thinkers. The collaboration formalized through a Space Act agreement, and it provided an opportunity for Peanuts to update the astronaut Snoopy character originally created by Charles M. Schulz during the Apollo era. Peanuts Worldwide will develop new space-themed programming with content about NASA's deep space exploration missions 50 years after the initial NASA-Peanuts collaboration began. And now, a drum roll, please. Come on. Come on, give me a real good one. Today is the release date. Today is the release date. Is Jakarta Varnado here? I hear you, I see you. Stand up, Jen. Jen, Jakarta Varnado, Mike McGlone, he's here, a part of our team that helped make this STEM curriculum possible. And we want to thank you guys publicly for working on this behind the scenes. Okay, so there are 3 activities. They are going to be released today. Some of you are going to hear the have signed up for the session that's happening tomorrow. So I'm going to, not talk too much about it, but there are 3 activities that are being released for the first time today, February 7th, 2019. It's targeting the audience of grades K through 5. And these activities provide background on the Apollo 10 mission and the engineering design process. Then one of them focuses on the new Orion spacecraft and the mechanics of its parachutes. And then the last one focuses on deep space astronauts and adaptation of human life on Mars. These materials are now available, or should be live. My hope is that they're alive. They should be available at the website that you see at the bottom of the screen. That is www.ymiclassroom.com/peanuts. So that's awesome. That is very awesome. That is very awesome. So I am to conclude now. And by that, I'm just going to say we are excited about the changes that are coming, that we're going to be working with. We're changing our strategy. It's all for the benefit of you. It's all for the benefit of the public understanding what it is that NASA's work is, and what better way to do it than to make you a part of it. That's where we're going. That's why we made the changes. We are the Office of STEM Engagement. Thank you.
So more exciting things. This is an amazing opportunity for you all to be part of something really incredible, and you're the first ones to know. So this is pretty exciting. This is good stuff. We now have another short little video here about space exploration, and then right after this video, I'm going to ask one of our amazing educators here at Space Center Houston, Casey Hines, to come up and send you on your adventure. So here we go.
the classroom? Who is ready for the Friday night banquet? And most importantly, who's ready to dare mighty things this week? Awesome. Well, my name is Casey Hines, and I am a former SEEC teacher, and I used to be sitting right where you are today. Yes, you, Becky, right where you are sitting right now. So 7 years ago, I dared mighty things and came to Space Center Houston for my first SEEC conference. I taught middle school science in Flagstaff, Arizona for 11 years, and it was an incredible time. Right in our backyard, we had the Grand Canyon, we had the Meteor Impact Crater. It was a hub for astronaut Apollo training, and it is the home of Lowell Observatory where Clyde Tombaugh first discovered Pluto. And it's exciting because you're going to hear more about that adventure from Dr. Alan Stern tomorrow when he talks about the New Horizon mission. But I want to focus quickly this morning on how I dared small steps in the classroom thanks to SEEC, and how those experiences built up to a giant leap to come here to Space Center Houston, and understanding how our passion to dare mighty things impacts future generations. I love Flagstaff and nerdy opportunities the entire time. It was just so much fun. I love to wonder what if. I love to try new things, experience new things, to make new memories and new experiences. And over the years, those spaced out experiences led to this dare mighty things theme, and that just kind of stuck with me. SEEC was one of my first nerdy experiences, and quickly realized that this is a mecca. This is a mecca for rock star educators to come and recharge their battery, to be inspired, and to reconnect with their tribe. So this photo, Daniel hasn't seen this yet. So this is an awesome photo. I was going through thousands of images to try and put this together. And this is me as a SEEC teacher in 2016. So, and that's Daniel Newmeyer, who he didn't even know who I was yet. So we did not know each other in this photo. Now he's my boss. So, and what you can see in this picture, if you look at my face, I am trying to contain all of my inner fangirl because I've just shaken hands with Apollo astronaut Alan Bean. So I'm trying to keep it together. And if you look at Daniel's face, he's trying to be like, okay, lady, keep your fangirl together and walk away from the Apollo astronaut. So, and you can see that, right? Yeah. So it's just really cool to stumble upon this picture and see those awesome memories of past SEEC and see how that's brought me to where I am today. So along with all that fun, what you dare to learn and experience here at SEEC transitioned into possibilities of a significant impact you can have on your students, your schools, and your communities. My goal when I left SEEC was to try and implement at least one thing right away in the classroom that I learned at SEEC. And I challenge you all to do the same and then share those stories with us on the SEEC page. I wanted to inspire my students early on to go into those STEM career fields. Honestly, I think, and it's probably all of you as well, we want our students to be those astronauts, those engineers, and those scientists. Every time I came to SEEC or did a NASA education experience, I just met these incredible people that are working so hard for the mission to explore into space for knowledge off the Earth, for the Earth. And that just was like, I want them to be a part of that. And for a little bit, we all get to be a part of that while we're here. Unfortunately, we don't always get to see the outcome of all that hard work in the classroom for decades. But we always hope that we planted that seed in their hearts and in their minds that they would want to dare mighty things as well. And that's what I loved about this conference and continue to do today, but just in a different capacity. So after those small steps for many years, I came to a giant leap in 2016 after that conference. I saw on Facebook that there was a position for an education supervisor, and I was like, oh my gosh, that would be the most epic job ever. Repost. I actually didn't even open it. But leading up to that, I had been thinking about what are the next steps. I just feel like I need to be doing something more. Something was on the horizon, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. But a week later, that door opened again where I saw that Facebook post pop up, and I thought, okay, I'll just take a peek and see what it says. And I realized every single thing was speaking to me. I was like, I'm doing all of these things in the classroom, Why can't I do it on a much larger scale to impact tens of thousands of kids? So I knew in my heart I had to dare something big or I may not get the opportunity to do it again. And I also wanted to show my students to never be afraid to chase after your dreams. It wasn't an easy decision to uproot our family and make that giant leap, but we did, and we moved all the way halfway across the country to Houston, and we have not regretted that move at all. So now I'm here in front of you speaking as an education manager here at Space Center Houston, and I couldn't be more proud. So in this role, there are a lot of new challenges, I won't lie, but they're helping me grow and they're helping me learn and helping me reach more of you all and your students to inspire them to be a part of the mission. But I tell you one thing, I do love being able to go to the restroom whenever I want. The struggle is real, right, teachers? But in all seriousness, the leadership here is absolutely incredible because they have made education the top priority in their strategic plan. It is so rare to see that education is the top priority for any organization, but here it's a part of our mission, and it's so important to all of us. I can see the high expectations paying off because out of the 15 education programs that we have here, the programs that I oversee, which are Stars in STEM, which is evening program, Campins is where you actually get to spend the night, and Space Center University, we've had over 14,000 people come through and experience those programs, which is just incredible in the last year. So Stars in STEM and Campins immerse our participants in hands-on STEM challenges, which are tied to rocketry, robotics, and space exploration. With the Campins, you get to stay the night and sleep next to space-flown artifacts such as Apollo 17, or you can bring your tent and put it out underneath the plane and sleep under the 747 in a shuttle mock-up. Space U is really incredible. I've really loved working on this program. This is our 5-day immersive program where students are really focused on rocketry, robotics, habitat design, scuba. They get to meet with guest speakers from NASA. They get to have lunch with an astronaut, and they get to really be immersed in the mission and experience the real thing. And that has grown over the years. So we have a middle school program, a high school program, college. We have an educator program. We have a program for students with visual impairments. And recently we launched, literally, an atmospheric research program where students design payloads and attach them to weather balloons, and we get up to about 70,000 to 100,000 feet with sensors and cameras. But most recently, and very exciting, is we had a student group of middle school Space U students with our crew member Karen Kingrea and Precision Biosciences. They actually designed an experiment that went up to the International Space Station in December with SpaceX and just recently returned. So she's got an awesome session this week, and so I really encourage you to check that out and learn more about their project. So, here I am just in front of you all in this new role. As a classroom teacher, I inspired 100 kids a year, and it's just been so incredible to be here at Space Center Houston, to know we're impacting tens of thousands of kids every year, all the time. So as the time draws near for you all to continue your adventure here at SEEC, I want to close with reading a letter from a former student who wrote this for me before I left to come to Houston. I keep it hanging in my office anytime I get caught up in the daily tasks and need to refocus on my true purpose here. So this is just a glimpse into the mind of a 6th grader 3 years ago. My dear Riley, Ms. Hines, Science Period 2, titled Dare Mighty Things. Inspiration is everywhere. You only have to know what your dream is to find it. And when you do, dare mighty things to make it come true. To me, this is life-changing, and it's full of inspiration. After hearing it, my perspective of possibilities changed completely. These simple words are saying no matter how big or impossible the situation may be, don't give up and work hard to get through it. To do this requires a lot of courage and trust, and I've learned you have to take risks and not give up on yourself when times get tough. Great opportunities can happen anytime or anywhere. Some may require courage, trust, or the need to be daring. Ms. Hines has inspired me and many others with these words. To me, this phrase means a lot. It has had a big impact on my life ever since I heard it, and I hope it will with others too. It has taught me to dream big, take risks, and work hard. It's amazing what you can do when you dare mighty things. So, this is Riley when she was in 6th grade, and she sent me this other picture on Instagram a couple days ago, and it's just incredible. She's now a freshman in high school to see that she's still daring mighty things. And I want you all to realize the true power you have to change lives in and out of the classroom. The simplest statement you make to a child can literally change their life for the better if there is passion and belief supporting it. I had no idea when I referenced Dare Mighty Things in the classroom that it would resonate with a 12-year-old. But when it did, and now she continues to dare mighty things. You all took a giant leap to get here, whether you had support from administration or not. Oh, where I lost my spot. But we're thrilled to have you here as our 25th anniversary. And as you take those small steps here, we really want you to share those stories when you take those giant leaps back in the classroom with what you've learned here. And please share that on our SEEC page with the hashtags SEEC25 and, of course, Dare Mighty Things. So choose to take a risk. Choose to go outside your comfort zone. Go the extra mile and dare mighty things. Thank you. All right, so I'm also wrapping up and getting you ready before you head out. Before we do, we want to touch on a few things. First of all, a lot of you came from all over the world, and we really want to highlight those of you that got here on our wonderful donors through our scholarship program. So raise your hand if you came on a scholarship. Awesome. Fantastic. So excited to have you here. All right, so just a friendly reminder to please be on time for your sessions. That's very, very important, especially for the bus tours. Those leave 10 minutes prior to their scheduled start time. So please note that because the buses will leave and we cannot get you over to your tour. So be early. Make sure to visit the observation deck in the teacher's lounge up over near the kids' space place, where you can further network and share your ideas with your fellow educators. We have many sessions with openings still, so make sure that you check out if you are on a wait list or you want to check out something. Make sure that you review those and join. Specifically making the cut with our student experiment to the space station, we have the expert educator session on the human analog mission, HERA, so check those out. And we also, none of this would be possible with everyone that's helping out here, all of our volunteers. So let's please give all of them a warm applause. Okay, and I think that's it. So, all right, Seekers, go dare mighty things. Have a good conference.